I welcome you to Messiah Revelation Ministry. It's an end-time ministry. We are focusing on key nations and key people. I've already said that you cannot do an end-time ministry. You cannot be an end-time prophecy without knowing much about the nation that is the leading nation in the world. You cannot be an end-time prophet without knowing the prophetic destiny of the United States. Today, I'm focusing this video on the United States. You can call this video a video about the decay of the American empire. You can call it the destillment of the United States from the throne. And you can call it the emergence of China as the next superpower. You can call it a shift in the a video about the shift in the international system. This video is focusing on the rise of China and the fall of the United States. I was motivated to do this video as I watched a presentation by a gentleman by name Chris Hedges, as he discussed the demise of the United States. And first of all, he talked about China, and the fact is very clear that at this time China has a supremacy in advanced technology. Whether you are talking about space technology or you are talking about cyber warfare, the Chinese are leading the United States in this segment, in this sector. And let's look at agriculture. The Department of Agriculture, United States, documented in 2015 that the U.S. growth in agriculture will increase by 50% in the next 15 years. At the same time, it also stated that by comparison, China's growth in agriculture will triple for that period. And so as America's growth in agriculture moves by 50%, China, on the other hand, sees a triple growth in her agriculture in the next 15 years. It's possible that the C-19 has changed things, but it is not going to reverse the trend of Chinese ascendancy in agriculture and also in advanced technology. And the report by Chris Hedges also indicated that China will overtake the United States in 2030. Economically, China will overtake the United States in 2030. It's not far from now. We are in 2021. And so if that assertion is true, it means that in less than a decade, China will overtake the United States. Manufacturing. All of you will agree with me that manufacturing is very important. It's important as far as industrialization is concerned. It's also important if a nation has to maintain a lead in the international system. And in 2010, China actually came forward, and China for the first time overtook the United States as far as manufacturing is concerned. And this is very dramatic because the US has maintained a lead in manufacturing globally for the last century. For over 100 years, US has maintained a lead in manufacturing. The Industrial Revolution began in the United Kingdom, Britain, but the US took a lead, and for 100 years US maintained leadership, and now that leadership has shifted to China. Let's look at defense. Even the Department of Defense of the United States agree in their report that the United States is facing challenges in the competition from China. And I've read reports where people are predicting that there is even going to be a collapse of Babylon by the year 2030. I'm not sure whether that assertion is true or not, but you also have to remember that the United States is facing challenges globally in military supremacy, whether you are talking about challenges from North Korea or from China, and definitely from the Russia. And if you look at some economic and social statistics, it's also very gloomy for the United States. It's known factually that the United States accounts for 5% of global population. At the same time, United States account for 25% of people who are in prison. 25% of people who are in prison all over the world are in the United States. What does it tell you? You can deduce so many things from it. That a nation that controls only 5% of the world population also controls 25% of people who are incarcerated, who are in jail, who have lost their freedom. And socially, it's also not very good for the United States, as you see a lot of deaths due to drug addiction, whether it be opium or cocaine. You see high levels of suicide. You see high levels of abortion. And so you see what Chris Hedges calls an empire in decline. And Chris Hedges recalls that in the year 1956, the world's leading nation, Britain, took a gamble and had a military encounter with Egypt in the Suez Canal crisis in 1956. Britain was humiliated, and not long after that, Britain lost power, beginning with the granting of independence to her colonies in Africa and other parts of the world. Chris Hedges is also saying that in the same way, the U.S. gamble of Afghanistan and Iraq also has contributed to the weakening of America's power. Afghanistan has been what described as the graveyard of empires, and so ironically, the U.S. gamble in Afghanistan and the Middle East also has contributed to the weakening of U.S. hegemony in the international system. There was a time that the CIA was able to use assassination, intimidation, destructions, propaganda to propel America to the highest level internationally, militarily, and politically, but now the game has changed. The tactics that the CIA used in assassinating foreign leaders, whether you are talking about Lumumba in the Congo, or the toppling of foreign nations, whether you are talking about the toppling of President Allende in Chile, or Nkrumah in Ghana, those tactics may not work anymore. So we see the inevitability of the demise and doom and desolation of Babylon, the nation that is now seeing calamities, the nation that is facing challenges, the nation that is seeing China moving on, even overtaking her in technology, in agriculture, and in global leadership. And so this generation, not long from now, we see a shift in the international system as the decline of the United States is in open sight. And whether you are looking at the prophecies in the Bible regarding the fall of Babylon, or whether you are looking at the reality that all empires fall, whether you are reading the book of Paul Kennedy, The Rise and Fall of Nations, the conclusion is the same. The decline of the United States is now at hand. The US is an empire in decline. It is an end-time event showing that we are close to the end of this age. And it's imperative for you to see the handwriting on the wall and accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, because the decline of the United States and the eventual fall of the United States is an integral part of the coming of our Messiah, Jesus Christ, whose kingdom will be an everlasting kingdom which will be the American Babylonian Empire. Thank you for this message.